It was in the legal model that Martin Luther developed his idea of penal substitution. Why? Because he wanted to take away the power of the church to manipulate people with the doctrine of purgatory. You see, under the model at the time that Martin Luther lived, purgatory is the idea that once you die, if you haven't taken care of all your sinfulness yet, then you can go to a place called purgatory where the sins can be purged, purging out the sins. And if you spend your time there, then the sins can be purged and you can eventually go on to heaven. And this was used by the organization because the organization held the keys to heaven and hell, and thus the priests and so forth would come to the people and say, if you donate this much money, or you donate this land, or you send 3 of your sons off to the Crusades, or you do this, then we will give so many extra credits to your dead grandfather in purgatory and send them on to heaven for you. And you can see how manipulative this was of the people. And Martin Luther recognized it as a heresy, and so he wanted to take the power away from the church to use this. And how did he do it? He came up and he created the idea of something called penal substitution theology. And penal substitution theology is that all sins, past, present, and future, of all people, of all time, from Adam all the way to the last human on earth, were placed upon Christ at the cross, and the Father punished all the sins on Jesus there, and thus there's no sins left for anybody to be purged in purgatory, because they've already been taken care of, a complete atonement at the cross. That's where this all came from. The problem, of course, is that this entire construct is based on a lie. False diagnosis. That the sin problem is legal. That God's law functions like human laws. That God is the source of inflicted pain. That justice is God using his power to kill sinners who don't get a legal accounting for their sins. It's all false. That's Satan's view. It's paganism. The truth is that God's law is design law, and mankind sinned. Our condition became terminal. We're dead in trespass and sin. We're out of harmony with God and his design for life. Thus, notice Scripture. I'm going to quote you out of 2 Corinthians 5. It says, God made him who knew no sin to become sin for us so that we might become the righteousness of God. This is substitution. But notice, this is not penal substitution. This is healing substitution. He who knew no sin became sin for us, that's substituting us, so that we might become righteous. We might be healed. We might be restored. Not that we might be declared righteous. We might become the righteousness of God. This is the view. In this view, we understand that the perfect and complete remedy for sin was procured by Christ at the cross. But the remedy still needs to be applied in the hearts and minds of individual believers. Thus, the species human was saved in the person, the humanity of Jesus Christ. He picked up humanity, broken off and damaged by Adam, becoming human, and he carried humanity to perfection in his own journey. He becomes the second Adam. And now, because of Jesus, the species human has been perfected and saved. And he created or achieved what was necessary for individual salvation, but that requires all of our participation. We must partake of what Christ has provided. And thus the atonement was not complete at the cross. The remedy was complete at the cross, but the application of the remedy into each believer is ongoing.